All right, it looks like we are going live now. Let's see if it's successfully posting on the Facebook. Okay, sounds good. I think everyone can start to see my live on Facebook. So I'm using a third-party software to there that is called One Live Streaming Service. So I don't know if it's really good and I don't know if it's really actually posting on my Facebook, and it should be. But let's go through it. All right. So today I'm so excited. Actually, today I want to share um, some valuable contents because I've been getting some questions the other day from other students that actually reaching out to me on Telegram, and he was asking basically, why do I have to do outreach? Why do I even have to reach out to other people, to strangers? Because why don't you just run some ads or just do some social media marketing and magically, the leads will appear, right? And you don't really have to do much work with that. And I was really intrigued with that question because imagine this, all the opportunities in the world, the people that you know in your life, your family, your spouse, your partner, your business partner, or anyone that you know in life, where do they come from? They come from strangers, right? From strangers, they can only turn into friends, community, right? Then only become partner if they're matching up with your personality and you want to do business together. But a lot of people actually they just say, "Oh no, my partner I coming from someone else," but eventually everything starts from stranger, because if you don't start from strangers, then that means that you don't do outreach, right? And it's impossible basically. All the warm inbound leads and everything, it's basically start from stranger. They see something on ads, right? They see something, some social media post, but everything start from stranger. Everything start from nothing, right? And you need to do outreach to get their attention. So everything is is planned, right? Everything is start from outreach. You cannot be good in the business if you don't know how to do closing, if you don't know how to do outbound on or reach out to other people. So that's my answer actually to the person, that whatever you are doing and whatever actually we are implementing in our business, everything starts with outreach, right? Okay, so today I want to share one very interesting topic, and I'm so excited. It's about outreach call secrets, right? How that we can reach out to other people and without any hesitation or fear or even mental blocks, right? Because just face it, a lot of people actually they don't really know how to reach out to other people, and that fear, that anxiety, that stress, that blocking them to do the outreach itself. Doesn't matter is that like really cold outreach, cold calls, or prospecting calls, or even just a follow-up. The people have assumption in their mind. They have some fear and anxiety, right? That's where actually it is not conducive, it's not productive because it's just blocking them to understand how that they can give value to other people by doing outreach, right? So let me start. I prepare some little bit of slides to kind of go over, and if the time is enough, then we can have a little bit of Q&A for that. Okay, so let me just open up and share my screen first for now, so you guys can also see what I'm sharing. All right, cool. So you guys should be able to see. It's called outreach call secrets. Today I'm talking about this, how to avoid fear, worry, and anxiety talking to strangers, right? Because I mentioned a lot of people actually they don't make the calls in the first place because one of two reasons. One, because they have the negative feeling too heavy, and it's just too hard for them to not like avoiding it, right? So basically they just having that fear, worry, anxiety before even make the calls. That's why people don't make the calls. Or the second reason, because they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do if the person responding back. And that leads to the number one, which is having this feeling, right? So let's talk about this. Now, before I start, actually, I want to share these resources and script to you guys. If you want it, I can share the slide with you, the script with you. Just comment on the chat, I'm in, or say yes, then I'll share it to you, all right, for free. Just let me know. Okay. So before we start, I want you to like, share, and comment this live so it will be shared to other people, and other salespeople and other entrepreneurs also can benefit from this. They can understand better about this, right? So, okay, let's go to it. So why making outreach calls is so hard? The main reason is because everything happens before the call happens, right? If you can overcome that mindset before the call's happening, then you will not have problem to make the calls. But because we all too fixated, we all too worry about the call, that's why we don't make the call. Put in the chat, is that true? Before you make the calls, the amount of stress, the amount of fear, the amount of anxiety is blocking you to make the call. That's why I've been getting a lot of questions with some companies that they need sales manager, and then the salespeople, they just make about 50 calls or 30 calls in a day. Well, actually, they're working 8 hours and they can only make about 30 to 50 calls. Why? Because it's too much in their head and they cannot make the calls fast enough, because it's like 2 minutes on the call and 5 minutes to just getting the courage to make the call. You know what I'm saying? And after the call, right? After the call, let's say they get rejection, they're being rejected, they take it personally, and at the end of the day, they're down. And that's why the call is not efficient. You cannot make 60, 80, 100 calls per day because there's too much in the head. Like you cannot put that out, and that's why it's blocking you, right? So that's exactly it is why people actually feeling so hard to make the calls. The calls itself is not that hard, because how many of you here, put in the chat, put in the comments right now, how many of you here, when you're making calls and you know when they pick up the phone, actually they're so friendly, they didn't even yell at you, they didn't even ignore or reject you. At least I think in Malaysia and Singapore, a lot of friends here that you have been making those calls and they're open to talk with you. True or true? Because before you make the calls, before you reach out to the person, you have the feeling that it's hard and it's weird. But after you talk to them, actually it's not that bad. Have you had that experience? When you're already on the call, it's not that bad. But before you make the call, everything is blocking you. So today we are going to talk about this, how that we can overcome those mental cloud, mental blockage, so that you can just make the call smoothly without have to wasting that bandwidth, that time, right? So what do you feel before you making those calls? Okay, put in the chat, what do you feel before you making those calls? What kind of feeling that comes to your mind before you make the call? Because a lot of people have different feeling, right? And some of you feel, yeah, put in the chat. I want to know, what do you feel about it? What do you feel about it? When you want to make outreach calls, it could be prospecting calls like cold callings. It could be some other things, right? But I want to know what is the feeling exactly that come out from there. I want to know, what do you feel when you before you make the calls? This is the feelings, right? Tell me if it's true and tell me which one that you feel. Okay, there's some fear, right? Anxiety, sweaty palm, right? Stressed, uncertain, unknown, uncomfortable, right? A lot of people that actually feeling this way because they just nervous, they just don't know what to do with that, so it's so uncertain, right? And all of this feeling are basically boils down again to the uncomfortable, right? And this all make you feel uncomfortable, and that's where it blocking you to take action. That actually you just need to make the call, and actually you just need to pull the numbers and make the dials, but somehow you just didn't do it because all of this feeling has been blocking you to do that, right? If you're selling insurance or real estate, right, You want to call the owner of the house, or even want to call your prospect, and you have this assumption in your head that makes it so hard to do, that fear, that anxiety, right? And at the end of the day, the feeling of uncomfortable is actually very good because you're getting out of the comfort zone. You should celebrate it, right? Think about this. If you always in the comfort zone and everything is just going smoothly without having any problems and everything is just going good, then maybe you don't need that anymore because it already been going on. But the problem is you haven't been able to generate the leads. You haven't been able to understand how that you can really penetrate to those strangers, right? When you want talking to them and how that you can engage with them. That is the real feeling of uncomfortable. And that's good because that will give you improvement, right? When you not feeling uncomfortable, you just stay in one place. But when you feel uncomfortable, you start to evolve. You start to find how that I can overcome this situation, how that I can get better, how that I can be myself, how that I can use some of the ways that's working well to engage with them, right? And I'm not saying that you're making these prospecting calls to just like pitching people or just taking some money from them or taking some appointments. No, it's not that. But make yourself as available resources for the person that you're talking to. Let me repeat that one more time. Make yourself as available resources to the person that you're talking to. When you make prospecting calls or outreach calls, even follow-up calls, when you can do that, the other person wants to talk with you more. And I'm going to talk with that in a second. And this is exactly why, right? Let me ask you this question first. If you're making prospecting calls, right, which one is more important? Is that a goal or is that a purpose? Put in the comments, which one is more important? Is that a goal or is that a purpose? When you make prospecting calls, when you are making those outreach, right? Which one is more important, goal or purpose? Put in the comments. Put in the comments. All right, exactly. That is the purpose, much more important, right? Do you know why? Because the goal is just the outcome. The goal is just the result. But when you're doing the right purpose, you will make the result. So goal, what is the goal to make those calls or prospecting calls, follow-up calls, outreach calls is to set up the appointment, right? That is the end goal. That is the end outcome that we want. Means if you don't achieve that goal, that outcome, what you feel? You feel disappointed. You feel rejected, right? You feel uncomfortable. You feel bad about it because you start to be attached to that goal, right? Imagine if you want to run like marathon, right? I don't know how many of you like doing some sports like marathon or something that you want to run 4 miles, let's say, and like 10 kilometers, right? But then if you don't achieve that goal, what it tells you, you will feel disappointed. You feel bad about yourself because you cannot complete it, right? And that's where actually you will feel disappointed if you don't achieve the goal. You feel rejected. Because of this experience, it comes to your head and makes you worry to make the calls. Because if you make the calls again and you're being rejected again, and you feel that bad, that disappointment, and you don't want it. And that becomes a spiral loop. You getting this? When you feel bad about it and you don't want to do it again, it makes presumption to your mind that I don't want to do it again, right? That's why it's so hard for you to pick up the phone and just call. Because of this reason. So how to not feel rejected? So how to be unattached? Focus on the purpose. Knowing your purpose of the call beforehand, before you make the call, and you will be more relaxed, you'll be more flowing, right? To engage your lead emotionally. This is exactly the purpose. If you can engage who that you're talking to emotionally, by the way, this is not only sales, this is about conversations, this is about communication. Put in the chat, If you can engage your lead emotionally, what will happen? What will happen? They will be trusting you. They have more conversation. They will be more open to you, right? Because emotion is the biggest factor in human realm, in human life, that's moving things. That's why it's called emotion, right? But how? How can you engage people emotionally? And I think a lot of you already know the answers. This is so easy to speak, to tell, right? Asking great questions. But in reality, it's very hard to do. In reality, it's very hard for people to understand how that really can asking great questions. Just literacy, right? You can just say, well, just ask the pain question, just ask the goal question, right? But what exactly it is, right? Which one is more emotionally move people? Is that the pain questions or is that the dreams question? Put in the chat, put in a comment, which one that is moving people more? Is that the pain question or is that the dreams question that move people towards emotional? Okay, so if you're answering dreams, you're halfway through, but the answer is the pain. You know why? Because pain is the current state, is the place where you can feel it directly right now, at this moment, at this time, and it's super emotional, right? If you let's say if you're just walking around your where you're at right now, and suddenly you just knock your knee to the table, that pain is real, right? That pain is move you, right? And says that, ouch, this is so painful, right? The pain is real, like you feel it directly. But the dreams is something that hasn't happened yet. So if you are, I don't know, if you're just like thinking about, oh, I want to eat burger at lunch, I want to eat some veggie at lunch, right? There's some imagination that you haven't feel it yet. You can just imagine it, but it's not real. You know what I'm saying? But the pain is something that real, that you can feel it exactly right now at this moment. That is why it's so much more easier to engage emotionally with pain rather than dreams, right? I give you an example, right? If you are, let's say if you're selling content creation, let's say you're a social media company and you're selling content creation to some companies, right? So this is the script. If you're selling digital marketing or social media, right? You can tell other people when you are doing the purpose of prospecting call, you can tell them, you know what, some of my clients, they have been feeling tired and frustrated when creating contents because they have been wasting so much time with their contents, but somehow they just cannot reach the right audience. But I don't know, have you ever feel that way in any cases? You tell this to the prospect, what they feel. You see the red color word, you already say the emotion feeling on your script when you're telling this, right? They will subconsciously will take it up, even though maybe they say like, not really, right? You see that when they say, oh, not really, they already start to think about it, right? But maybe they can be lying or not. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is they start to feel it. And this is how you can move them emotionally. Put the trigger words in front of them. Ask these questions, right? By the way, this is not only on conversation, not only on phone calls. You can also do this anywhere, on the text, on an email, or any other platforms, right? Another example, let's say if you are selling fitness coaching, right? Or fitness training, right? You can tell that, you know what, some of my clients, even though they make great income, but somehow they are sad and desperate with their health and their mindset. And sometimes they feel out of shape because they neglected exercise, fitness, and now they're kind of regretting it. Have you ever feel that way too in any cases? You see that when you do this, there's so much emotional words that I throw out to the prospect. And this is how that you can move them emotionally, right? Because so many salespeople, they didn't do this. They're just focusing on the outcome. When they call the person, and what they say, oh, we are selling digital marketing, and we are helping actually a fitness coach to get better. And do you want to know more about this? Can we set up appointments, right? They just go directly with the pitch. They don't care about the prospect. But if you can be different and move them emotionally, what will happen? What will happen? If you do it correctly, they'll be engaged in the conversation, right? If you do the purpose correctly, they will be engaged, they'll trust you, they open for more conversation. At the end, they will not hesitate to have appointments with you, right? Because you have been unattached. You're not fixated, oh, I have to set up the appointments, oh, I have to get these people qualified, right? No, the purpose of you calling actually to disqualify them if there is no needs, there's no pains, there's no emotion going on, right? Because naturally they want to speak more with you if you can show them the way to solve it. And you understand their pains and you move them emotionally, then only they will trust you more. And then only they'll jump on a call with you for the next appointment. But if you don't even move them emotionally, they'll ghost you instead, right? So there is no point if you not move them emotionally. The purpose is not there. There's no outcome for sure, right? So recap formula. First thing, you got to know the purpose, right? The purpose is much more important than the goal. To move them emotionally. How? By asking great questions, right? To move them emotionally with the pain statements. If we can really do this, and they will feel engaged, the instant trust is built at the right moment. Then you'll be more relaxed, right? Why? Because you feel that they cannot reject you. You're not focusing on a goal and you are so unattached to it, right? Because if you too focus on the outcomes, on the goal, and they feel like, all right, I have to just, keep setting up that appointments, and you feel rejected, you feel disappointed. But if you not focusing on the goal, you just focus on the purpose, you not feel disappointed. You're not attached to it. That's why you can raise back up and then just make the next call. Make sense? So that's exactly how you focus on the purpose, not the goal, to make you more relaxed on the call. Then only if you do that correctly and they feel about you, then you can move them towards the appointments, right? So recap, how that you really can be invisible, meaning that they cannot reject you. You just focus on the purpose, right? Asking great questions, move them emotionally. That's it. The outcome of setting up appointments is just the goal, that you don't have to worry about that. If it's not, then it's not, then you just move on to the next one. But if you too fixated on that outcome, people will just reject you and you feel hurt and it become mental BS for you to make the next call, right? Okay, good. So hope you get so much value from this session. If you have any questions, post them in the comments right now. Okay. Now is no other when. Okay. So no other time. Don't procrastinate. Just do it. Okay. If you have any question, drop in the comments and let me know if you want the script just now on this presentation. I'll share it to you. Just put in the chat, say that I want the script, right? Put the line on the chat, on the comment box, and